This is the Big O Show. 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 For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Where can you drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
South Florida, listen carefully. Osmani Garcia with Omega Realty Group is changing the game. He's not just listing homes. He's guaranteeing to sell yours in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it himself. No excuses, no delays, no fine print games. This is real. If you're serious about selling, call 305-440-1990 and see if your home qualifies. Osmani Garcia delivers results. Osmani Garcia, the home of the 30-day sale guaranteed, where guarantees are backed by action. Call now, don't wait. This market won't wait for you. Restrictions apply. Call 305-440-1990.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt & Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt & Rayom can help.
Where can you drive a new Acura ZDX for only $439 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good
morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard. Time to have some fun here on the program. It is a Friday, and so it's good. We made it to the end of the week. I will make my ass to Tampa in a few hours to go see a little AC/DC tonight. Final time I'll see AC/DC, I'm pretty sure. So looking forward to that. See how Brian and the boys sound. I'm sure Angus will put on one hell of a show. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, if any of you are going, reach out to me, DM. But going to be a great weekend, man. Got Panthers looking to eliminate Toronto tonight. I'll be at AC/DC. Tomorrow I'll be at Morrissey in Hollywood. So having a good time. It's going to be a really good weekend. Looking forward to it. So appreciate all of you out there. David Furones will stop by. We'll talk some Dolphins. I've got a couple of Dolphin issues I want to talk about too on the show. Obviously, we'll preview a little Panthers and Maple Leafs. Have a little fun with that. What else? Oh, and then there's all kinds of stuff going on in the world of sports, and even crypto. Sean, did you see that scientists have figured out a way to convert lead to gold? That's crazy shit, dude. Can you imagine the people that are invested in gold right now? Kind of worried about this? It says Large Hadron Collider, the ALICE experiment, has observed the transmutation of lead into gold through near-miss collisions of high-energy lead nuclei. These interactions generate intense electromagnetic fields capable of ejecting 3 protons and 2 neutrons from a lead nucleus, forming a gold nucleus. Although this process produces only fleeting quantities of gold, it provides valuable insight into nuclear reactions and supports theoretical models of electromagnetic disassociation. This research enhances the understanding of beam loss mechanisms, which are critical for optimizing the performance of LHC and future particle accelerators. Peter Schiff is shitting in his pants right now. Okay. So Bitcoin, finite. There's 21 million. That's it. There'll be no more. Money, they keep printing. Gold, they keep mining. And now they can actually create lead into gold. If that started there, eventually that aren't they like creating diamonds now, right? It's not like lab-grown diamonds. They're not exactly diamonds, but they're being sold for quite a bit of money. So if you are able to, gold is a metal, lead is a metal. So if you're able to convert it into gold does not become that much more valuable. That about devalues gold now. Okay? Just saying. And when we land on Mars and eventually, have some life there and start forming it there or any other planet, which is coming, maybe not in my generation, but, down the line, they'll mine more gold, more silver, more platinum in all those places too. Okay? But Bitcoin, if this is true, you're going to have nations like saying, oh shit, we need to go buy Bitcoin because gold is not that valuable. That is insanity, bro. I saw that this morning and I was like, oh my God, poor Peter Schiff. He is shitting in his depends right now. Okay. He is having a rough one. Anyway, so it is Friday, May 16th, 2025, day number 18,708. That's right, 18,708 days since the Miami Dolphins have lifted the Vince Lombardi Trophy. David Furones will join us at the bottom of the hour.
Manny Navarro will join us at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, so we'll have a little fun with them. We'll catch up with a little Dolphins talk, a little Canes. We'll get the latest on what's going on with both the football teams. We've got in basketball tonight, Celtics and the Knicks. We've got the Leafs and the Panthers tonight. We've got, by the way, Fort Lauderdale United is in action tonight at 6 o'clock, taking on Lexington SC, but I believe they're on the road. They're on the road. So, but you could catch it on Peacock as always. So the ladies are in action tonight at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow, you'll have Miami FC in action, actually. And then on Sunday, you'll have Inter Miami. So you have soccer Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is pretty cool. Fort Lauderdale and Miami FC were both off last week. So they are back in action. So support your local soccer teams. Although tonight, I know it's kind of hard to pay attention to anything but Panthers. Unless, you're going to AC/DC, and it is what it is. By the way, the shirt, Sean, weak. The Tampa shirt, weak sauce. I wasn't impressed with it. It's Angus, like a shadow of Angus, and then like the Tampa skyline next to it. And Tampa's not known for its skyline. Panama crushes Tampa's little bullshit skyline. Go look at Panama. Not Panama City, Florida. Panama, like the country. Go look at Panama's skyline. Go look at that. That looks like Miami's skyline, actually. Might be even bigger than Miami's skyline, or just as big. It's impressive. But Tampa, they have the Skyline Bridge, but they don't have a skyline. Not really what you want to show, but whatever. My wife says, don't buy the Tampa shirt. She goes, why don't you buy one that's really cool from another city? And I was thinking about that. Yeah, why not? Why not buy one from another city that is a cool one? And I know which concert I went to, so I didn't go to whatever other one that has a really cool shirt. So what? Minneapolis or whatever, doesn't matter. Like I think the Dallas one was really, really cool. But yeah, I don't know if I could pull it up on the AC/DC website. Let's see, where are we at here? But it's weak. I gotta say, weak sauce. Store. Here we go. See if they released. They have it here because my buddy event tees. Here we go. There we go. Now I can bring it up for you guys just for the hell of it. Have a little fun with this. And nothing against Tampa, but it's like look at the Vegas one. The Vegas one, I should probably get the Vegas one. Maybe you look at the Minneapolis one is really cool, but I actually like the Vegas one. That one is actually badass. See? That one's badass. Let me see if they they haven't even, you know what? They're my buddy showed me the Tampa one, but they haven't even put it up on the website yet. At what time does it drop? Because today's the concert. Maybe the one he sent me is not accurate. I don't know. But I think I'm going to buy the Vegas one for the hell of it. See, this one's pretty good. Foxborough? One's pretty good. But just the fact that it's Foxborough and it reminds me of the Patriots, I can't buy it. I can't buy it. You know what I'm saying? Just the word Foxborough goes with Patriots, and that's disgusting. So I can't do that. It's not in my DNA. So I think I'm going to go to that one. The Los Angeles one was the worst so far. That has been the worst. Okay. Whole lot of Rosie. I know Rosie's a big girl and big girls need love too and all that. But that one wasn't good. The Detroit one is not bad. Kind of black and whitish with the engine. But nah. Right? I gotta go Sin City. I think I'm gonna go Sin City. I'm gonna, you know what? Maybe my buddy had the wrong one for Tampa that he showed me. And it's not the one, and maybe it's actually cool. We'll see. Maybe it drops during the show and we'll show it off or something. We'll have a little fun. All right. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco and the great people there at 3A Graphics. If you need custom printing and embroidery for your company, corporation, school, whatever, an event, a fantasy league. Last year was, fantasy league. But they had 24 people. It was like a special job. He normally does bigger jobs. Anyway, but we accommodated. Anyway, 786-618-1443. Call him 3A Graphics. That's his personal cell number, so you can talk to the owner. Tonight at 8 o'clock, Florida leads 3-2 in this series. They host the Maple Leafs at Amerant Bank. Florida is minus 245 on the money line. Maple Leafs are plus 200. Carolina over Washington last night in Oki. So Carolina eliminates Washington, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference, which means nothing, as we've all learned, right? So Carolina wins the series 4-1. So now another reason why the Panthers need to win tonight, because you don't want them getting any extra rest. So there we go. Washington's out. Ovechkin's out. They're expecting him to return for next season after his record-breaking year. But we await Carolina. Sean, did you get to watch any of the Carolina game yesterday in that ugly-ass uniform? Oh, you did? Okay. That is some ugly-ass uniform, bro. Ugly-ass uniform. Tonight at 6 o'clock, Fort Lauderdale United is taking on Lexington SC on the road. You can catch it on Peacock. Saturday, Pitbull Stadium, 7:10. Miami FC hosting London United FC. Last night, Nuggets over the Thunder, 119-107. That series is now tied at 3. And what else do we have? And Sunday, Inter Miami at 7 o'clock, taking on Orlando City at Chase Stadium. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Don't forget, folks, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that. Solana or Chainlink too, since they have expanded. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, you can help us go to Spain. And Sean will show you the QR code there. Any kind of donation is always appreciated. Thank you. Oscar Rojas, I see, is number 1 in Melbourne there. Jeff in Long Island, I see. Lisa Rose, all right. Ty in the Bronx. Good stuff. Appreciate you all out there, as always, tuning in and locking it in. It's kind of interesting that with the Dolphins, you had the whole Colts video, and we talked about it yesterday, and everybody's talked about it and shown it, and they got Tyreek with the 10 and the Coast Guard and all that kind of stuff if you haven't seen it. And so they, obviously apologized and everything and took it down, and Tyreek, had a sense of humor, rolled with the punches, all of that. The one thing that we didn't talk about, and I haven't talked about because I didn't think about it, it's a scenario that could develop for Tyreek, could develop for the Dolphins. Let me walk you through this. I don't think there'll be, I'm sure there won't be a Tyreek Hill trade. right? Well, not so fast, my friends. I thought about a scenario that it could happen. Walk with me on this one. Okay? Here's how Tyreek Hill could be traded. Things don't go well for the Dolphins. They're not winning a lot of games. We're approaching the trade deadline. The playoffs don't look very realistic. Looks like you're going to fire Mike McDaniel. Well, now that you're going to do that prior to the trade deadline, I could see you moving Tyreek Hill if he hasn't gotten arrested, if he hasn't gotten into any trouble, if he's having a good season and playing well and behaving, then a team will take a chance because they're only renting him for a couple of weeks. And then they will do the same thing the Dolphins are going to do at the end of the year, release him. So as I've told you over and over, there'll be no Tyreek Hill trade, and I'm sure of that. But the one scenario, if in the draft they were willing to trade a 4th rounder for a 3rd rounder in 26, because there wasn't that much, this offseason wasn't done with the kind of urgency like, oh my God, my job's on the line, as we all know. Well, if you are forward thinking, well, you keep Tyreek now because you have no choice. The cap hit would be brutal already. But once the season's going, okay, you've already taken the hits. It's already going to move on. You're already through most of the season. You get rid of them for the final weeks. It doesn't really matter at that point. You understand what I'm saying? Now you can't do it because it accelerates. It just does all kinds of shit to you that it's not smart. So you're stuck. But if the agent and Tyreek, well, the agent is smart, Tyreek isn't. But if somehow or another they had a conversation and say, hey, I need you to keep your head on straight, because they can't trade you now, but they could trade you at the deadline. So you need to be a good soldier, play well, and maybe you can end up on a playoff caliber team at the end of the year. That's the one scenario that I overlooked and didn't think about, because at that point, the season doesn't matter anymore. You tried to save your job, Mike McDaniel. You tried to save your job, Chris Greer. You tried to, save the season, all that. It's not happening. Okay, now we're looking towards the future. The one move we can make prior to the trade deadline is Tyreek Hill. We're going to let him go in a couple of weeks. Well, if somebody will give us whatever pick it is for him at this moment, because they're missing a receiver, they desperately need one, they're a receiver away from a title because they're a really good team, whatever it is, but they're going to desperately need Tyreek. And that's where you might get your pick. Not a high pick, but maybe a 3rd, maybe a 4th, something like that. I don't think you'll get a 1st or a 2nd. I don't think anybody will be that crazy, but you never know. And that's the one scenario that when I started to think about, is this possible? How I know it's not possible now, but down the line, that's the one scenario that could exist. Now, we're Dolphin fans. Okay, while I don't think they're going to have a good season, it's not what we're hoping for. We're hoping that they have a really good season and they want to keep them because they want to try to get into the playoffs and actually try to win a playoff game. Would be nice. But that is the scenario that I thought of, that for those of you that have been dying to make the Tyreek Hill trade, and I keep telling you there's no shot, because it's no shot. It's not going to happen. Now, since it can't happen, how do you think the owner feels about that Indianapolis Colts video? It's what my franchise is known for. keeping an idiot that, is now making fun of his own arrest. It's got to be rough for Ross on that one. Okay? Got to be rough for the people, at the top that's how they view your team, that they making light of it because of Tyreek being such an idiot. That is that one's I wonder how it went down with Ross when he saw that one. Something tells me he wasn't laughing. That's all I got to say. Something tells me he wasn't laughing. Don't forget, folks, visit our friends at the Big Cheese, bigcheesemiami.com, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. Go to bigcheesemiami.com. And, by the way, they do have the party platters. It's usually big during the holiday season, but just in case, if you're having a get-together, you want to treat your customers, maybe you want to treat your employees to some kind of a party, any plate can become a party platter, and you can mix up any of the sauces. It's a beautiful thing. Reach out to them, 305-662-6855. Go this weekend and check it out and try some amazing Italian food at bigcheesemiami.com. What were you going to say there, Sean?
You're frozen on my end. The volume has been good. That's why I didn't jump in until you finished your thought. But we might want to take a quick break and reset your camera.
Give me a 30-second one and I'll fix it.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
The great William Quigley. Make sure you give him a ring in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Great people. They know how to do their landscaping. Trust me. Trust me. Subaru of Pembroke Pines, I see there. Yes, sir. We'll be there next Wednesday, broadcasting live. And it'll be at 11 a.m., okay? Next Wednesday at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. And remember, if you mention my name, you will get $500 off your next Subaru. So if you are looking for a Subaru, an incredibly reliable vehicle, highest rated vehicle by customers and also by Consumer Reports. So, all that kind of stuff, they kill it. So if you're looking for a great vehicle, go visit our friends at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. And of course, mention my name so you can get $500 off. Okay. Doom and Gloom says, I saw where Tyreek was not offended by the cold schedule video, making fun of him instead of pissing him off, making him a better man. What a bum. No, he's probably better off not even responding to it. But, he doesn't play that game. He has to respond to everything. And since he's not very smart and doesn't know really how to handle it, you can't see. Doom Gloom. He cannot get pissed because that's who he is. So you get pissed at what? The truth. So Tyler Hero, you're going to get pissed at what? The truth that you're a joke as a defender. People go at you because they can easily score at you. You're going to get pissed. I'm sorry, bro. That's the truth. So you can't get pissed because it's Trevor Bauer just tweeted out yesterday. Well, they reinstated P. Rose and all. Well, what about me? Well, there's a difference, bro. These guys bet on games. They weren't beating women allegedly. Okay. So MLB did investigation, and they found enough evidence that said, whoa, this guy's disgusting, and we got to get him away from here. Just because he was in charge, because whatever technicality or loophole, which we all know plenty of people get away with this kind of stuff because of technicalities or loopholes. Doesn't mean they didn't do it. But like Trevor Bauer is putting himself in the same level as guys that screwed up with gambling. Like, no, dude, you're beating women. Screw you, bro. You know, like sometimes there's a disconnect, and Tyreek has that disconnect in every way possible. What he had to do was just stay quiet, stay in his lane and all that. Instead, he went along with the joke, which then pisses off the owner. And that part I'm with you, doom and gloom. But the part I'm not with you is he can't snap and go after him because that's who you are, dude. So if you want to get pissed at people, well, then change the narrative. Change who you are. Stop being an idiot. Stop getting in trouble constantly. And that's where Tyreek doesn't get it. True Fin Fan, thank you for the love on the super chat as always, sir. 3 and 5 to start. I'll bet $20. Anyone want to bet? 3 and 5. Wow. What day is the trading deadline? Because that I'm interested in now. Because there's a chance that that's where they could pick up an extra pick for 2026. And I'm into that. Yeah. I'm really into that. So
Tuesday, November 5th.
Tuesday, November 5th.
At 4 p.m.
What week is that? That's like 8?
No, it'd be about 10, right? Because the 16th is week 11. We play in Madrid. So, no, about...
Because we don't start at the beginning of September, so we only have like 3/4 of September and October, and then it's already November. That's why I thought.
Yeah, it's probably week 9, I think, because that would be...
Yeah, maybe week 9. Okay.
9, and then 10, and then 11 we're in Spain. That's the only reason I know. 11 is the 16th.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it's got to be, I guess, right the end of into week 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Just... We'll see. But that is the one scenario that I thought of. And I said, well, let me inform Dolphin Nation, that, okay, you can't get your trade now, but if things don't go well, we could see that trade later on, and at least you'll get something. And that'll help for next year when you're trying to bounce back, whoever returns, whatever changes they make, because, they'll make some changes. So we'll see. Think Blue Dodgers checking in from LA and smoking it. Enjoy, sir. The $20 bet in the Super Bowl was more to donate to the Big O show than the Chiefs winning. Thank you, sir. Jamie Zoria in San Jose. Hope you have a great weekend, my friend. And he is reminding everybody to smash the hell out of that like button. The only reason Inter Miami or Inter Messi should be followed is if you're Argentine. Yeah. It has become a bum-ass team. And it is really Argentina's team. Yeah. They put out a press release that Jordi Alba re-signed. Do you know how they first put it out, Sean? In Spanish. That's how shitty that media relations staff is. That's how clueless they are. That's how this team is just a clown show. And now they're becoming a clown show on the field, on the pitch. Bitch. Isn't it? It's interesting because, Sean and I have lived it, so we kind of know all the stuff behind the scenes, and it's a disaster. It is run like a disaster. They don't really give a shit about that side. And it shows constantly. And their media relations staff is absolutely garbage. Players are rarely ever available. They don't really, really put out their players. And yesterday, Albo re-signs, and your first press release is in Spanish. Bro, you're in America. It's Argentina's team. It really is. It's Argentina's team. They get managers that don't speak English. It's just like they do everything just kind of ass backwards. And this manager's not even good. Maybe it's better that he doesn't speak English. That way he doesn't have to explain so much what a complete screw-up he is. But yeah, no, look, the Moss brothers are good dudes, okay? They're really good dudes, and they have a lot of money. Outside of that, it's a fantasy team, is what it is. That's the way it's run. Take it from somebody that's been behind the scenes. It's a fantasy team. That's why you've had 3 general managers now and 4 head coaches, right, Sean? 4 or 5. Something like that. And you've only been around a couple seasons. And you've already been fined for cheating because you had too many DPs. The league allows you 3. Somehow you thought 5 you can get away with 5. It is an absolute disaster behind the scenes. What saves their ass is that they can print money like the Federal Reserve because they're billionaires, and they can buy whatever they want. And that is a beautiful thing for us. But you can see there's not a lot of method behind the madness in the way they've put it together. All right, let's go. Let's talk about another football team without any method behind the madness. Let's go. David Furones in our Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Realm Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session. Welt and Realm has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
David, ¿cómo estás?
Bastante bien, Orlando. Gracias.
We might as well start the interview the way Inter Miami starts their press release.
I was listening to that right before I got on. Man, that's wild.
It is wild. It's like, and it's just really, can you imagine being a beat writer on that? You really don't have access to players. You barely talk to them. The coach, you better be Hispanic because, bro, you're done. And so, and unfortunately, it's just been kind of very top heavy. And like, I'm really pissed now. You traded away Campana and Robert Taylor and guys that you could have needed right now because, what's going on. But it's kind of like a fantasy team. It's really nice to be a billionaire because you can just throw money to shit and try to erase it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That helps.
Man, I make like day-to-day decisions with my money that with like heavy impact on my finances. Like I wish I could just throw money to waste at whatever, and then if it doesn't work out, oh well, I just throw money at something else.
Higuain, Matuidi, it doesn't matter. Oh, whatever. No, we'll bring this guy and we'll bring that. Oh, and then if it doesn't work, whatever, we'll buy another guy. It's beautiful. I mean, that's why we wanted him to buy the Marlins. Because that's exactly what you need in baseball. The guy that is willing, or woman or family that is willing to spend. All right.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Let me give you a scenario because I have said over and over and over and over again, no shot that Tyreek will get traded. Okay. Right. I have one.
Okay.
I have one. Just explained it to everybody before. If the Dolphins struggle, if they're not doing well, and Tyreek is not getting arrested and playing well, the trading deadline is the time. They're not going to do it now because of the cap hit and everything else, and it'll set them back. Plus, they're trying to win. They can't replace the talent either. So they've got to roll the dice with the guy. They're screwed. They're trying to save their jobs. But by the trading deadline, if the team's not playing well, if the playoffs don't look realistic, but Tyreek is playing well and he's not in any trouble up until then, whoever trades for him is only renting him for a few weeks because the Dolphins or that team is going to release him at the end of the year. And you're already into the season. So at that point, you don't care. Just like in the draft, you said, no, we'll turn this 4th rounder into a 3rd rounder in 2026. This is better for our team in the future, which is true. Well, if you're not playing well, the trading deadline would be the opportunity because the team would pay less for Tyreek. They also have to carry him less on the roster. And Miami will then end up getting probably a better pick than they would now. Because if he plays well till then and is not in trouble till then, somebody will give up a higher pick at that moment, maybe even a 3rd rounder, because they're renting it for their own playoff run. Your thoughts?
Right. An in-season trade of Tyreek Hill has always been in play, I felt, in the scenario that you lay out.
I think it's the only one in play. I don't think the...
Yeah. Because I've always thought the statute of limitations on what we've always said that the Dolphins won't trade Tyreek Hill is just, I'm thinking just going into the season, like this offseason. I'm just taking it into this offseason, like start of the season, then that's a whole different ball game now. So yeah, if the situation plays out, we're halfway through the year. Now, the Dolphins, the schedule came out this week, and I feel like the first half of the schedule is the softer part, where that's where they should stack up some wins. It sort of lines up. I know. Don't do that because last year we said the same thing and it didn't work out.
The schedule game.
I know.
I stopped that like a decade ago. You gotta stop this. The schedule game will burn you every time. It's hard for us to predict who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. Or when you play them that week, are they hot? Are they injured? Or what? You just don't know. Or are you hot? Or are you injured? You just don't. You can't play the schedule.
Last year it was Tua. It was Tua being injured with the concussion, and that derailed that whole soft part of the schedule. But we all knew the Dolphins should have been stacking up wins.
2 years ago, you would have said. 2 years ago, you would have said, "Oh, Tennessee. Oh yeah, no, bro, that's a win. Oh yeah, how did that work out? You know what I'm saying?" So
that's the thing. Tua was out.
You just can't do that shit, dude. You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
We get burned with that every single time because you're assuming that your team, whoever does the schedule shit, whatever city you're in, you're also assuming that your team's going to be, on target and playing well. And that just doesn't, unless you're a Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan or, like a legit team that's going to be really good this year, no matter what you think, then you can play that schedule game a little bit. But teams like ours, they really can't play a schedule game.
Oh, it'll be so funny if you grabbed like season predictions of record of every NFL team and what fan bases of every NFL team think. You're not going to end up with an even number of wins and losses. You're going to end up with so many more predicted wins because every fan base is going to be like, oh yeah, W, oh okay, all right, that one, that's an L. But they're going to all end up with predicting more wins overall. But anyway, if it does play out that way where the first half of the season is a lot of struggles. They do have some road games there too. So, even if you play those perceived softer teams, it's tougher to win on the road. Some primetime games. We know the Dolphins don't perform well in primetime. So if it does play out that way, I can see it.
6 primetime games, bro. 6 prime, because I count the Madrid one a primetime game because for me, primetime is not just because it's evening. Prime time for me is you're all alone, bro. Everybody, there's only one game on. So, yeah, you gave them 5 night games, but you also gave them that Spain game, and that's 6 for a team that they don't deserve that, dude.
Right. And it's a very unique kickoff over there because it's 9:30 a.m. here, but over there it's going to be, I think it'll be 3:30. I'm not sure if it's 2:30 or 3:30 by November with daylight savings and whatever. But so I mean, it's closer to like being one of those 4 o'clock kickoffs, which is more of a spotlight on you than a 1 p.m. regular season game that you're used to. So it still is different, and obviously, playing in another country, it has a big game feeling, especially when it's 2 good teams like it was Dolphins Chiefs in Germany. So yeah, I agree with you. That is the same sort of impact of prime time.
Yeah. Damn, those tickets are expensive.
Look,
Those tickets are expensive to fly out there, bro. Jesus. Anyway, all right. What'd you think of the whole schedule release? Tyreek's reaction to it. But the real question I have for you, because everybody can say, oh, Tyreek, he has a sense of humor. I personally think he should have stayed shut and not say anything whatsoever, because in the end, the guy that's got to be going like, bro, what's going on here is Stephen Ross. Like, you're the owner, and then this is what your franchise is viewed as. This is what we're looking at. Oh, the Dolphins. Oh, it's Tyreek getting arrested by the Coast Guard. And that's a bad look for the owner himself. I think that's the part that we don't talk enough about. We talk about how the Colts apologize. We talk about how Tyreek was, having a sense of humor and all that good stuff. And we're, whether fans were pissed off or laughing about it or whatever, but in no way, shape, or form can Stephen Ross be happy about this and be happy that his player is also making light of his own, problems.
Yeah, it does speak volumes that's the first thing that comes to mind. So another NFL team, right? So schedule release video, the social media teams, the video teams for all the NFL franchises, they're supposed to come up with whatever ideas to take jabs at the other team. What's the first thing you think of when you think of the Dolphins? If you're in Indianapolis, anywhere, all right, let's take a stab at Tyreek Hill. That's just the low-hanging fruit that is there for other teams, other fan bases to attack on the Dolphins. And was it insensitive? Because Tyreek Hill puts himself in this position. So I don't know. I feel like the Colts more so had to delete it for the Minecraft aspect of it with Microsoft and the rights that they had to the video. But maybe just at the same time they were getting some flack on social media, so they decided to loop the Tyreek Hill part into it. So I don't know what the full story is there, but and Tyreek Hill not one to be offended. So went ahead and said, hey, I thought that was funny. But if you're Stephen Ross, you do have to look at that and say, this is the perception of my franchise. This is the first thing people think of. Now, does everyone do that? Like, all right, the Chargers are always one of the better teams in producing these videos, and they had the Dolphins on the schedule. And when they had the Dolphins, and they did the Baker Mayfield is on the yacht with Tua thing. They poked fun at that. They had the inside of the yacht in their video had Justin Herbert on the elevator, the same elevator that the Dolphins always use. They had Tyreek Hill in there, and they did the Mike McDaniel sprinting away thing. Like, so they had fun with like a lot of other different things you could find with the Dolphins. So I guess they probably thought of it and maybe said, nah, let's just stay away from Tyreek Hill getting arrested. I'm sure that
the Colts people are stupid. They did even the Minecraft stuff without even asking and getting permission. So that's really what got them in trouble. That Microsoft was going to sue their ass, and they had to remove that right away and apologize and all that kind of crap. And it's funny because I use anything. I barely use anything from the NFL. Why? Because I've already been attacked by the NFL. I had to I had to write a letter and promise that I'm not going to use, a whole bunch of video of NFL and all that, because we were using a bunch of NFL stuff at the beginning of the platform. And then all of a sudden the NFL came after us, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to use any of that stuff anymore. And we barely use, if anything, we'll use like a little audio clip or something, because we can't get tagged for that. But bro, we don't touch anything because the NFL is real touchy about it. And then this whole thing that the Colts do with Microsoft and Minecraft and all that, and they're about to get sued. It's just funny how it turns that way, dude, because I know personally I've been through it here on this platform, something that I never knew about because I've always worked for an entity. So they handle all that kind of stuff. But when you are your own, you end up finding out about your own, and you got to get a lawyer and all that to handle all that. And that's a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah, don't want that. And yeah, every season we're reminded by the Dolphins communication staff of these league-wide rules of the limitations on how many seconds of video you're allowed to use per day of the interviews, the very interviews that we are attending and asking the questions, how much we can film the video and put it out there.
They gave me a minute and 40 seconds every day.
Okay. I hear 90 seconds now.
I don't even use it basically. I basically told them, go fuck yourself. Fuck you, bro. I don't need your video, your audio, whatever. I'll cut a little audio clip out of it. If you're just gonna, that's why I stopped also going, because I used to go and get interviews and post them, and then they give me shit for me going to go post my own interviews. Like I went and did the work with Sean. We went and recorded the interviews, and then when we post them, then the NFL comes after us for posting. It's like, bro, I'm promoting your league. Screw you. It's like this on X. I didn't pay for my check mark. and I know my posts and all that are not going to get nearly as much exposure. An agent friend of mine goes, dude, I want to send you a DM, but I can't send you a DM because you're not verified. And so since I'm verified, I can't send it to somebody that's non-verified. That's Elon blocking out the people that don't pay. Your tweets won't get exposed as much. You won't get, but all that shit. But you know what? Again, I tell Elon to go himself also. I'm not going to give, just because he lost his ass buying Twitter, I'm not going to give in to him. I know most people did and all that kind of stuff. I feel like standing on my own and I don't feel like doing it, but this is what they do. You know what I mean? The NFL. So I'm kind of glad that the Colts screwed up, so Microsoft can go after them the way the NFL goes after people all the damn time.
Check your settings, because there's something you got to be able to switch to be able to receive all DMs. Because I mean, I know I have my DMs open, so I can still get something from.
Are you verified? Did you buy it? I didn't buy it.
Okay, because you got verified, but without buying?
I had the check mark. I earned it. I was a media member. I am a media member, but they took away the check mark because they want you to pay for it. If you don't pay for it, you get limited. So your tweets won't be seen as much by as many people. Whenever you post anything, your DMs, you won't have the same access from some people. If you don't pay, Elon does things to your account so you have less access. That's just the way.
Yeah, I know. But all right, you had the check mark before, but then when he took away all the check marks from the people who did have it, like that happened to me originally, but you didn't get one back later, even though you're not paying? Because I know that's happened to some people, that they still just got the check mark back.
You got it back without paying?
No. I did, because then it also signs me up for a little bit of monetization from tweeting. So I'll make it back what I pay. But I know some other people who did not pay. They at some point just got the check mark back.
I didn't get it
one day. Okay.
I didn't get it back.
Okay. Maybe it'll happen one day.
I doubt it. I'm not very complimentary anyways. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's based on that.
Dude, I'm just not a guy that's going to kiss people's asses.
Yeah.
No matter who it is. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. So I'm going to do whatever I think is right, and I'm going to stand on it. And I'll die on that. I'll die on that flag. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And I've lasted so long. I could do it without radio. I could do it without Elon. I could just continue to do it. So, I'm not going to, I don't give in to any of this kind of crap, but it is what it is. I get it. A lot of people need it and they have to do it and all that. For me, I'm just not going to kill myself for it if it doesn't.
And you're established, Big O. Like people come to your platform, so they know where to find you. So it's not
but less people know how to find me because of that on Twitter. Because of that, he has limited, so less people see it, and they don't. Dude, society's so lazy. You know how many people reached out to me and say, "Hey, dude, I haven't been able to listen to your show. You're not on Spotify." And I'm like, yo, dude, I'm on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and Amazon and YouTube. And like, your lazy ass didn't bother to go to, like, if you really want to listen to the show, like, you know, we had something, Spotify had some issue there. We were off of Spotify for like a month and a half. We were trying to fix the technicality. It was all on their end. We had no control over it. Sean finally fixed it, you know, but I literally had people telling me, oh, I haven't been able to listen to your show because I haven't gotten it on Spotify. And it's like, so you refuse to go to SoundCloud or iTunes, or like it's all there? That's how lazy people are, bro. So I am sure I'm completely being hurt by less access on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I can tell by my tweets and the how they get less reaction and all that, because less people are seeing it, you know, compared to where it was a couple of years ago before this idiot took over. As I said, I'm not very kind. So, you know, it's just one of those things, but it just, what are you going to do, bro? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I know how that friend of yours feels, because I'm Spotify gang, and I know like Pandemic. You're gonna have him on. Manny Navarro had a little like side podcast that they just experimented with during the pandemic with Walter Villa and Andre Fernandez.
Oh, yeah.
They had me on, and I would like tune in also, and then they stopped downloading on Spotify for a little bit, and then I remember telling them like, oh man, I haven't listened to the recent episodes because I haven't seen them on Spotify, and they're like, that's the only place you look. Like, yeah, that's what I have. That's the
Hago tú eres, brother. ¿Qué clase de vago tú eres? No. No. Come on. All right, what do you got going on the Sentinel so Dolphins can check you out?
Oh man, just ready for next week. If something happens with Jalen Ramsey, maybe there's a way where they have a trade in place but don't execute it until June, like Adam Schefter said. So you never know when some news can break. And aside from that, trying to take a little bit.
Hold on a second. I got a question for you. I don't know if you know this off the top of your head. Who's Jalen Ramsey's agent?
David Mulugeta.
Who does he? What's the company?
Oh, that's Athletes First.
What is Schefter?
Oh, I don't know what Schefter's representation. Would it's them though, or
I don't know.
Okay, no, I don't think so.
Because the cynical son of a bitch in me, when Schefter tweets out, there's more interest in Jalen Ramsey than people expect, I'm going, oh my God, this guy's represented by the same freaking agency.
I'm not sure Adam Schefter's representation.
That's exactly the first thing I thought. I go, oh, wait a minute. Because really, I'm like, how can there be a lot of interest in Jalen Ramsey when there's a lot of money on the line? The Dolphins can't really ask for much. They don't have leverage. You're going to have to take on a lot of salary. People don't have that cap space right now available at this point in time. So how can there be a lot of interest in him? And then I think right away, I've been in this so long, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. He's in the same agency as Jalen Ramsey or something, and he's doing a favor to the agency by throwing it out there and seeing if any other teams will bite and increase the traffic for him or something. That's what I thought of right away. And I wonder, so I don't know, dude, if you can dig out there. I just didn't bother to look it up. I wonder if Schefter and Jalen Ramsey's agencies are the same. That's all I ask.
No, well, you see, what I've noticed is a lot of Jalen Ramsey's news or David Mulugeta's clients' news is getting broken by NFL Network. Actually, is what I've caught. Like when Jalen Ramsey got hurt at training camp, then Ian Rappaport was the first one to have.
How did Schefter get this first?
Now Schefter, he is always getting Drew Rosenhaus's clients' news first.
Right.
So if you want to pick up on tendencies, that's what I've figured out is like the guys who Drew Rosenhaus represents. Adam Schefter's always breaking that news, and I've noticed NFL Network is always getting a lot of like Jalen Ramsey specifically. Any news with him, like when he was coming back, when he got injured, all that it was NFL Network on top of it. So if you want to start like putting some, so it was interesting that Adam Schefter had that report, but now it wasn't like a breaking news. It was kind of like, this is just like where he's reporting what he's hearing, where he feels things are. So
Ray says it's CAA agency for Schefter.
Okay.
So that's not so if it's that's not the same as Ramsey, so it doesn't go.
Yeah, no, yeah, and Ramsey's news would have been broken by Schefter the past times if that were the case. So,
right,
that lines up.
I just have a hard time believing that there's that much interest in Ramsey.
Maybe what he's talking about is more like teams inquiring because they're saying, okay, if Ramsey's available for a steal, even though it's at his salary, like, all right, we'll pay if all we got to give up is a fifth or something like, like a fifth next year, whatever. So it's probably like a lot of teams just trying to see how much they can steal him as opposed to like really trying to bid, Yeah.
I'm with you there. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and make sure you catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, have a terrific weekend, my brother. We will catch up on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you. There you go. Welton Rayom, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. You're going to love these guys, Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, the personal attention that you're going to get. That's what it's all about, folks, okay? You're going to get guys these are the guys that are going to handle your case. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom. They're going to communicate. They're going to talk to you. They're going to walk you through everything. And by the way, the consultation is completely free. So if you're not even sure you have a case or not, call them. Run the case through them. Ask them, hey, do I have a case? And they'll tell you. And then you're ready to go. Sometimes, they handle a lot of things. Maybe they may not handle your situation. They're so cool, they might even tell you somebody else that they know that can help you out. Really, man, Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, salt of the earth people, amazing people, and great lawyers, ass-kicking lawyers. Several of our listeners have enjoyed their services, and so did we, because we witnessed it, where Progressive got crushed by them. And many of our listeners now over the years, and a few are in the middle of it right now because everything that happened in the West Coast and everything else, lots of our listeners throughout the state have called. Central Florida, West Coast, here on the East Coast. Call them, 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. Thank you. As always, appreciate you all out there. Oh, man. God, can't wait for tonight, huh? Whew, that's going to be fun. A little Panthers. I'll watch it late. And I will watch it when I get home. I'm sure I'll keep up with it on my phone and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be rocking out at the concert tonight. I'm looking forward to the AC/DC concert. If any of you are going to the concert tonight in Tampa, make sure you reach out to me on DMs. Would love to hook up with you. I am headed straight to the pop-up store, which I probably am going to be there by 4:00. I would imagine, because it's going to take us about 4 hours to get there. I wish it was in Orlando. I like driving to Orlando more than Tampa. It's just a little extra drive to Tampa. Orlando it's just a little quicker, man. A little more direct. Tampa, you got to do the whole West thing and all that. Oh, God. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? I gotta commend the Dolphin Nation on the silliness that they every year possess, right? It doesn't matter. And it's a new thing because your hate for Tua draws out your stupidity. Your hate for Tua draws out your stupidity. You can dislike Tua all you want, dude. It's the best quarterback you've had since Marino, and it's not even close. It's by miles and miles and miles. Way better than anything we've had here. Some of you may not be smart enough to figure that out. I can't help you, to be quite honest. Can't help you with that one. But it's every year. Oh, no, Teddy Bridgewater is going to take his job. He can't hold his jock. Oh, no, Skylar Thompson is going to take his job. Can't hold his jock. Then they signed Hundley. We had idiots that think, well, no, Hundley will be the guy. And now it's Quinn Ewers. Look, guys, if you want to compare him to, Burrow or Allen or, like the real quarterbacks, then you can have all your conversations and all that. But if you keep reaching for scrubs, can they lead the league in completion percentage? Because that's what Tua did. Can they be in the MVP race the last couple of years? Because that's what Tua did. I get it. Even media members thought that Teddy Bridgewater was going to be something when, the problem with some media, some beat writers sometimes is they only cover their beat. They actually don't really watch the rest of the league. And if you would have really watched Teddy Bridgewater, you would have said there's no way. But there's plenty of you that were stupid enough, fans and media, that thought that Teddy Bridgewater was going to take his job. And now the newest one is Quinn Ewers. Your hatred for Tua draws out your stupidity. Call him injury prone if you want. Okay? If you want to pick on him for big games, that's fine. That's a problem for the Dolphins for 40 years, no matter who it is at quarterback or coach. But that's all right. That's fine. At least you have something there you can step on. But you can't stand on anything else when all they bring in are scrubs. And why? Nobody brings in a guy that can challenge your number one because you can't carry your salary cap on it. But somehow or another, some of you idiots out there keep thinking that the backup scrubs that you bring in, Zach Wilson or whatever, are going to take the job of a guy that actually led the NFL in completion percentage with no offensive line and no running game. Oh, and by the way, a shitty offensive coordinator. Imagine if he actually had a line that could block, a running game that was deliberate, and a head coach that actually knew how to run an offense. I wonder how much better he could be. Maybe he'd be something like what he was in Alabama when they had an offensive line, a running game, and a coach on the sidelines. Oh, and they used the tight end. They waited till his 5th year to use the tight end. 5th year to have a tight end. So, again, Quinn Ewers, whatever, you guys want to continue to be idiots. You can hate Tua all you want, but bro, don't be stupid. Hour number 2 and Manny Navarro next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, my friend? You feeling good?
Feeling good. Oh, how are you?
Good. I was looking at a video. Was that Jackson Cantwell himself, like lifting like 500 pounds in that video?
Yeah, super strong kid, man. He could lift a lot. I know that. I know he's going to get paid a lot as well to come play football here in Miami. But
the guy can lift the entire training facility. I mean, that's impressive. I thought, I was like, holy shit, man. These are high school kids, bro. It's like, wow. And listen, people get all tied up with the whole fan crap of Georgia and all that kind of stuff and all butthurt. I don't really give a shit about any of that. To me, it's awesome that he's getting this. Okay. I need him to start winning because this will dry out quickly. He will not keep landing these people because everybody else will have the money. So I know that he comes here to be coached by Mirabal and Cristobal, which is godlike, an offensive line. We saw the dedication, something that Mike McDaniel doesn't do. They do it here. That's one thing I do respect about them. They get it that you've got to win at the line of scrimmages. And I love that they pound the shit out of the football. They use 3 running backs. They want to wear out the defense, but you got to win, bro. So when you land this Cantwell kid and you start landing, you got to turn this into ACC championships. You got to turn this into deep runs into the playoffs. I'm not saying you got to go back to the 80s and the 90s where you're winning a championship every other year, but dude, you better start getting in that mix because this is really fun when you can land these kind of guys, but you're not going to keep them if you don't win.
Yeah, you're right. And every head coach in college football ultimately has a window, whether or not they have a long, contract or not, like Cristobal does, signing that, 8-year, $80 million deal when he first got the job, or actually 10-year, $80 million deal.
That contract is getting shorter, by the way. It's not a longer contract now. Now it's a contract that is now starting to get shorter and shorter every year. So he's got to look at it that way too.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, like you're right. I mean, all of these kids right now are excited because Miami had the number 1 offense in the country. They just had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Mario has Penei Sewell in the NFL. So there's an example of a premier offensive tackle that he coached. Francis Mauigoa is going to be the next one. He's got this thing headed in the right direction, but ultimately wins and losses and whether or not you make the college football playoff is really what's going to make the difference here with the next Jackson Cantwell and the next, elite prospect that Miami wants to go after. Here's the thing, and I wrote this in my column. The SEC and the Big Ten right now have a stranglehold on getting elite recruits in this country because they are seen as the 2 premier conferences. If you need any proof of that, go back and look at the first round of the NFL draft this past year. 26 of the 32 draft picks in the first round played in the SEC or the Big Ten. And that's all permeated on the fact that those are viewed as the 2 premier conferences in football. And so for Jackson Cantwell to pick Miami, to come play for Mario, to say, I'm going to go to the ACC and not one of the 2 premier conferences in college football, sends a message that Miami is one of the few programs, because there's not a lot of them, that can actually contend for a national title without being in those 2 conferences. And that's going to be a lot harder to do in the years to come if you don't start making the college football playoff every single year.
Yes. And let me piggyback on the exceptional point you just made, and I'm going to bring it back to you and I have lived this. Mm-hmm. There's no difference than the Big Least. Another crappy conference and the Big Least, it's the same shit. The only difference is that it wasn't about money for Miami in those days. It was about cachet. It was about production. It was about, oh shit, yeah, Alabama or Oklahoma might give me a little extra cash, but bro, those people are winning, and I'm going to end up in the NFL, and I'm going to end up with a high pick, and I'm sure there's some money on the side that there was here, but nothing like it is there. So we had the equalizer in those days. And the money in college football wasn't crazy like it is now. Well, guess what? We can't live off of that equalizer anymore. The equalizer is the NIL, which is what you said many times on this segment, that Miami's NIL is as good as anybody's in the country. As long as you do that, that's our equalizer. If Mario can win, that's the one that catapults you over the top. So the mechanisms are the same. There's still an equalizer. Back then, it was your reputation, winning, and sending people to the NFL. That equalized the difference in your facilities and a little bit of money that they had that you didn't. Now, the only equalizer is that NIL. So that's why I started the segment with, yeah, it's great to get Cantwell, but you got to win. So with that NIL and winning, Miami doesn't need to be in the Big Ten or in the SEC.
Right. But you got to win and you got to make the playoff, which is why Notre Dame and Clemson continue to recruit at a high level, because they have won championships or played for championships in recent history, whereas Miami has not. And so right now, really what's keeping Miami in the race to get guys like Cantwell and have, top 10, top 15 recruiting classes is Mario. It's the belief that, hey, this guy can get Miami there. But sooner or later, if you don't do it, if you don't have something to prove, like, proof of concept, hey, look, we made it to the playoff. Hey, we won the ACC this year. That message gets stale with recruits. And so you're right. There is a window here for Mario ultimately to win. And we'll see whether or not they can cash in this year. I think their team is good enough on paper.
They were last
year. They were last year. And I think they are again this year.
Yeah. The one thing both football coaches in town have done, Mike McDaniel and Mario Cristobal, they both have underachieved every single season. Every single season, they have not won the amount of games they should have won. They should have won more games. That's all I got to say. And so it's time that either McDaniel or Cristobal or both start winning the amount of games that your talent says you have. So that's where I have to point my fingers at both guys. Both guys I've been very disappointed in on game day. Everything, the only difference is there's a lot of other things I dislike about McDaniel. There's nothing I dislike about Mario. Nothing except game day. That's it.
Right.
He's perfect everywhere else. Unlike McDaniel, who's imperfect in a shit ton of places, Mario is perfect everywhere, dude. He's just got to get the shit done, bro, on Saturdays. Enough.
Yeah.
Gotta win. Okay, now, I'm not going to get into fan shit. I don't care about Georgia or Ohio State, butthurt or whatever about that. I don't give a shit about that. But here's what I do give a shit about, because I know that negativity is out there and you're part of the national media. So what the fuck is all about this, that we get the Cantwell kid and our rankings go down for our recruiting class and him? That's a load of shit.
Well, look, the guy, I know many of the guys who do these rankings, okay? And I can tell you the one in particular, 247, Andrew Ivins, who people are criticizing because he's in charge of their rankings.
I got to get him on. What the hell is that?
He's one of their national analysts in charge of seeding all this stuff. Look, they have meetings, lots of meetings. They get on the phone together. They have these Zoom calls. They talk about guys. And these things are planned well in advance. They have to update their rankings as they go through spring, as they go through the summer, as they go in different camps, etc. And the thing is this, though, they have to update the rankings. They can't just leave it the same the whole year, right? Because then it looks like they're not really doing their job. So they have these debates every few months and they update their rankings. Look, I'm telling Miami fans who believe there's a conspiracy, it changes every time. Like, it's gonna change. It's gonna be shaken up. Had the kid moved from a 5-star out of a 5-star, okay, I can buy the complaint. But who cares if he's number one or he's number 10?
One recruit to like the number 4 or 5 or something like that, right?
I think he's 10th. You think he's 10th on their rankings?
No joda. 10.
Listen.
How does he go from 1 to 10, bro? But it's just clickbait shit then. That's all they're doing.
Hey, listen. I know that Andrew puts a lot of work into this with those other guys. I know he does because I've talked to him while he does this stuff. He takes it seriously. But here's what I would say to the Miami fans. Who gives a shit if he goes from 1 to 10? This isn't the NFL draft. This isn't like a guy's falling in the draft and losing millions of dollars.
No, but it's just weird, bro.
I know. But like,
all of a sudden you're recruiting the number 1 player in the country, and then all of a sudden he becomes the number 10 player in the country.
There's no conspiracy. There's no, hey, we need to screw Miami over. I'm telling you, the number 1 guy switches quite a bit. The only year that really didn't happen was Jeremiah Smith's year, and I think that's because everybody knew Jeremiah Smith was a freaking badass, and like there was nobody who was going to overtake him as the number 1 player. And look, Cantwell is still number 1 in the 247 composite, which compiles all of the rankings together. So he's still viewed as the number 1 player in my book.
All right. It was just kind of funny. And wasn't that, although
I get it.
We don't want him number 1. The last time we had number 1, it was like Willie Williams or something. And that didn't work out for us.
Chantrell Henderson, I think, might have been the last one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do we what's the next recruit they're going after now for 26?
Well, they got 10 commitments right now. They're the number 10 class, and there's a lot of guys that are going to be coming in. We're about to hit the official visit weekend in a lot of places. Florida's having a big recruiting weekend this one coming up. Miami has let me look at which weekend it is here. May 30th is the first major one, and they got 21 guys that are set to come in here. Look, the main ones for me, and whether or not I deem this a good year for Mario on the recruiting trail, 2 guys in particular. Derek Cooper, who is an elite, running back out of Hollywood Chaminade High School, a guy that I think is very comparable to Sean Taylor in terms of his ability to play offense or defense and be a star on either side of the field. I know they have him playing running back right now, but I think that kid could be a great player on either side of the line of scrimmage. And then the wide receiver out of Miami Northwestern, whose name escapes me right now. What is the kid's name? His mom went to UM. I can't remember his name right now. Calvin Russell. There you go. Calvin Russell. 6'5", 195 pounds. Miami's competing with Syracuse for that kid. He's a 5-star prospect. You got to be able to land these elite guys. If your program is really heading to that, promised land, and you're winning big games and you're turning the tide, so to speak, you beat Georgia for kids in your own backyard that are elite kids. And look, that was a huge win to get Cantwell. But to me, the best players in South Florida still haven't said, hey, I'm just going to Miami. And they're difference makers.
Winning, bro. Winning.
Yeah.
But you know what? Considering what they used to recruit and what Mario's done now, it's leaps and bounds. The talent is getting better. He just has to add the final ingredient on Saturdays. If he does that, dude, they'll be lining up to come here because you have said the real key every single time. They've got the money, bro. They've got the NIL. If they've got the NIL, all we need now is the winning. And then the pipeline just starts once again. It'll start all over. That's why I'm saying that I love the Cantwell, recruiting, but you got to make sure you end up in the ACC championship game and in the playoffs this year. You have to start turning the corner. That's really the entire key for everything, because that's when all those top kids all over are going to go, well, I don't have to leave. I can just go to Coral Gables and I'll go to the NFL and I get paid. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the key, and until they reach that point, it's just going to be, hey, can he do it?
You get paid and you win at Georgia. You get paid and you win at Ohio State. Here, you're only getting paid. Oh, by the way, that's what happens with the Dolphins. They only get paid too.
Yeah, no winning there either.
No winning. Right, and unfortunately, you could get away with that in the pros forever because it's the pros, but in college, it's going to hurt you. Yeah. And that's where we need Mario to turn the corner on Saturdays. So we'll see. Yeah. All right, what else you working on the athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yes. Well, I just put out a story on young, talented quarterback, Neiman Lawrence, out of Miami Northwestern High School. Kid's only 15 years old. He just turned 15 in January, and he's already 6'2", 200 pounds. He's the quarterback of the South Florida Express. Went to Ransom Everglades the last 2 years. His parents are doing, I think, a really good job raising him. He's had his own private quarterback coach since he was 8 years old. So he's kind of the next big thing, I think, to come out of the state of Florida. I think he's a guy who could potentially be the number one recruit in the country in 2028. And so I went down to Northwestern. I watched him go through a practice with Teddy Bridgewater, who, of course, is coaching Northwestern and led them to a state title last year. And Teddy's got him running an NFL offense. The kid told me, he's like, we got 30 different formations. He's changing protections at the line of scrimmage. He's audibling in and out of plays, setting up, calling out everything. And he's 15 years old. So if you want to read about that, you can check it out at The Athletic.
By the way, I was tripping out with Mario because, he called out Kuiper on the Hokie Ward thing. And I loved it because I've said for years, because, me, I went to Senior Bowl for a couple decades, and Kuiper was never there. Kuiper, with a Senior Bowl or whatever, East-West, I don't think I ever saw him at the East-West or the Gridiron Classic, but he showed up like once or twice at Senior Bowl in like 20 years that I would go, and he was in the press box the entire time, never down with the football people. And he only talks to agents, really. He does talk to the Ravens because he lives there in Maryland, and if you notice when he talks football, he'll always have a lot of positive shit to say about the Ravens. And that's because that's really like the only facility that he has some connection with. He really doesn't talk to people around the NFL. And so what people don't realize. And so I really like that Mario did that, because deep down inside, Mario knows also the bullshit that he doesn't really talk to NFL people. He gets most of his information, when he does, from actual agents, actually.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Oh, it's so many reporters for so long have lived off of that, and just being told, the insights from certain sources who always slant it that way. And so when you go back and you look at their actual reporting and how good they are at actually doing their job, it's through the lens of somebody else, right? It's not through the lens of necessarily everybody involved. And so being in journalism as long as I have, yeah, I do a lot of homework in my off season, brother, to know about the ACC and these players and these kids, and don't always have to talk to people, agents per se, but I get what I need, and I feel like I do a pretty good job.
And you got to try to get the other side.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the Athletic. We don't, I cover the whole shebang, brother. It's not just one team, so I don't just view it through the Miami lens when I talk about the Hurricanes.
Amen. Follow him on Twitter at Manny _Navarro and catch his work there at The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next week.
All right, brother. Take care.
You got it. And, of course, BigCheeseMiami.com is the website. 305-662-6855. Pasta. It's shipped from Italy, cooked fresh daily. You're going to love it. Tell them that Big O sent you. And those garlic rolls are to die for.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. The season ended for Jimmy Butler, which was a beautiful thing. And he made his feelings very clear about where he's at with the Warriors. He says, I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I got my joy back, as Buddy said. I'm fortunate to be here, referencing Buddy Hield. And then he said about his role, second option to Steph Curry, he goes, to come here and know I'm second to Steph is a really good thing. To be a sidekick, it's really refreshing, Butler added. And of course it is, because you're not a number one. Only the Miami Heat thought you were a number one. Only the certain people in the Heat Nation thought you were a number one. Those of us with a brain, we knew you were a number two. You were never a number one. We've seen number ones. They look like Wade. They look like Bosh and LeBron and Shaq and Alonzo Mourning. Those are number ones. I know what a number one looks like. He's not one. He's actually a very poor number two. He's really more of a number three, actually, in a real league. Okay? Because when you have Shaq and Wade, he's three. If you have Bosh, LeBron, and Wade, he's four. Okay? So, however you want to look at it. But when you have like real players, he's going to take a back seat to those kind of guys. So it's great that he's there and he's a sidekick and he played just like one in those final games. Because that's what he is. And his body cannot go all out like I've been telling you over and over and over again because it won't hold up. And let me give you a little prediction. Okay? You can save this video, Sean. You'll probably make it a rant out of this. But I can tell you how this Butler story will end in Golden State. I'm going to gamble and say that it ends with some kind of a fight between Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler. It's going to end ugly. Do you know why? There'll be times that Steph is going to miss because he's getting older. He's breaking down. And there's going to be many nights where they need Butler to step up. And they're going to see what just happened the last two games. They overlooked it right now because the whole Steph thing has got them blinded. But eventually, over the 82 games, they're going to see lazy-ass Butler. Okay? And then that's when Draymond Green is going to say, yeah, no, that ain't going on. And that's when he's going to speak his mind. And that's when those two are going to go at it. So at some point next season, don't know exactly when, but I'm pretty sure that Draymond Green is going to say, I've had enough of this guy. Like everybody's had enough of Draymond Green anyway, but it's the pot calling the kettle black. It's Brandon Marshall hitting Vontae Green with a football in the head saying, what are you doing? Drinking and coming to practice. What are you doing being irresponsible? Irresponsible, talking to irresponsible. So it's just going to be beautiful that they don't realize what they have created and what's going to happen in that locker room between those two guys eventually. Kevin Durant had to get away from the guy. Butler is much more volatile. Durant is a blah, blah guy. Jimmy Butler's not that guy. He's got street in him. So that's going to be very interesting. Durant's a fake tough guy. Butler, he's a tough guy. There's no doubt about it. He's not a number one, maybe not even a good number two basketball player, star-like, but he definitely is a tough guy. So that's going to be very interesting. I'm just saying. By the way, Teddy Deadwater, that is freaking awesome. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. Brian Radke, thank you for the love on Cash App, sir. Appreciate you. Says, happy Friday, Big O. Thank you, Brian. Very kind of you. Thank you for the donation. As always, we appreciate it. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And you can use those QR codes right there to make a donation. Zach Wilson is next. I'm willing to give Evers playing time if Tua falters. It's not whether you're willing or whatever. It's whatever they earn between those two. But I will say this. Evers has no chance to be the number one here unless Tua is injured. But he has a chance to unseat Zach Wilson. Okay? Zach is all talent. I still have yet to see a quarterback. Whereas at least with Quinn Ewers, I've seen a quarterback in the college level. Not that it convinces me what he was at college can become a starter in the NFL, but does he have like backup qualities to him? Yeah. So I'll give him a chance to challenge Zach Wilson, but not anything else. That's about it. Either way, if Tua goes down, you have no chance of anything. As I've told you for several seasons now, if he goes down, don't count on Teddy, don't count on Huntley, don't count on on Skyler. Bro, we had idiots that thought that Skylar Thompson was a starter. Seriously. So don't count on Zach and don't count on Quinn Ewers to bail you out. If it's not Tua, dead in the water. Absolutely dead in the water. Okay? Let's see. Man, will they stop with the Tua? There's no one better than Tua right now. Go Tua coach sucks. That's the problem, Dolphin fans. Yeah, the coach does suck. He hurts every quarterback. He hurt Huntley. Big O, not doing shit tonight. Help me make a decision for dinner. Chick-fil-A, Flanagan's Sports Grill, or subs? Oh, well, it depends on where you're getting the sub from. You know, if you're going to La Spada, then yeah. You got to go to, if it's a good sub shop, then yeah. But out of the restaurants, yes.
Is there a place called Subbies, or did he misspell something? He put Subbies.
I'm thinking Subways.
I'm thinking
probably Subways because there's a Y and an S, and maybe, yeah, I think it's Subways he meant. But either way, I'm dropping Chick and the subs. It's all between Flanagan's and Sports Grill. You want ribs? Go in Flanagan's. You want like a Dolphin sandwich or something like that? I'm going Sports Grill. You want wings? I'm going Sports Grill. You want some pasta? I'm going Flanagan's. You want soup? I'm going Flanagan's. It all depends. They each have strengths and weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? So I love their chicken parm at Sports Grill. And two terrific places. You can't go wrong at Flanagan's or Sports Grill. You really can't. But there are certain things that you might like from one over the other. I'm going to like the Sports Grill wings over Flanagan's. I'm going to like the Flanagan ribs over Sports Grill. If I'm going to be honest, okay? Love both places. I go to both places all the time. I have a Sports Grill and a Flanagan's right here next to my house. So I actually alternate with both. Love them both. Can't lose with either. The other stuff you can lose. Because you may not get the right sub shop. You may not get the right Chick-fil-A sometimes. You know. All right, let's go with musicians celebrating birthdays today in music history. All righty. Simon Katz, songwriter, instrumentalist from Jamiroquai, born in 1971. Ralph Tresvant, one of the boys in New Edition. I love New Edition. Candy Girl, you are my world. Born in 1968. Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Born in 1966, my year. Chris Novoselic, bassist with Nirvana, born in 1965. Boyd Tinsley, violinist and mandolinist with Dave Matthews Band, born in 1964. Andrew Innes, from Primal Scream, born in 62. Glenn Gregory. Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, Glenn Gregory from Heaven 17, born in 58. I love that song. What is it? What's this? Let Me Go. Yeah, I love that song. Who else? Celebrating birthdays today. Richard Page from Mr. Mister, lead singer, born in 53. Daryl Sweet from Nazareth. Love Hurts, born in 47. And Liberace, born in 1919. All right, let's go with other famous people celebrating birthdays on May 16th. Those that I don't say an age, it's because they've passed away. All right. Henry Fonda, born in 1905. Billy Martin, the manager, born in 1928. Danny Trejo, born in 44. He's 81 today. Pierce Bronson, born in 53, 72. Deborah Winger, working that a mechanical horse. Great scene. 55, she is 70 today. Mare Winningham, the only one that wasn't famous in St. Elmo's Fire, born in 59, she's 66. Tracy Gold, born in 69, she's 56. David Boreanaz, Angel, Buffy, born in 69, he's 56. Tori Spelling, being left off a will, that's got to be rough. Born in 73, she's 52. Alex Paul from the Chainsmokers. Pretty good band, bro, the Chainsmokers. They're decent, man. 85, he's 40 today. Megan Fox, 86, she's 39. Ashley Wagner, figure skater, born in 91, 34 today. And that is it. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir. Freebird Buddy Roberts was born on this date in 1947. David Finlay, he turns 32 today. The great Johnny Rodz is 84. Mike Bennett turns 40. The Giant Omos turns 31. And the Godfather, Papa Shango, Kama Mustafa, however you remember him, he turned 64 today on May 16th, 2025.
Love it. All right, let's move over to music history. May 16th. What happened today in music history? Well, in 83, Iron Maiden released their fourth album, Peace of Mind. In 2010, Elf, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, and Dio singer Ronnie James Dio passed away from stomach cancer at 67. In 84, Ozzy Osbourne was arrested in Memphis for staggering drunk down Beale Street. In 87, U2 started a 3-week run at number one on the singles charts with or Without You, the band's first ever number one. In 69, Pete Townsend of The Who spent a night in a New York jail after assaulting a man who jumped on stage during their show. He didn't realize the guy was a plainclothes policeman trying to warn the audience that there was a fire. In 66, the Beach Boys released Pet Sounds. Perfection. In 70, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young had the number one album in the country with Deja Vu. Awesome album, too. 2009, Bob Dylan topped the charts with the 33rd album, Together Through Life. And in 98, on this date, Keith Richards fell in his Connecticut home while reaching for a book of nude art. He broke some ribs, caused the Rolling Stones to postpone tour dates. That's what happened today in Musica history. All right. Big O, what game 6 buildup? I wouldn't go back to Toronto if I play a game 5. If I were them, they won't be allowed back. LOL. I'm going, by the way. Good for you, sir. Should be fun tonight. I would imagine they're going to be a little dejected, but they got to also take some dirty shots tonight. So they got to be very careful with that. Very careful. I thought they would get dirty in the third period of the last game because they were getting their asses kicked so badly, and they completely wimped out. I mean, dude, it's meow, 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 meow. It's funny because Dolphin fans sometimes come at me and they get a little pissed because I constantly hammer them because they're soft and they fold and all that kind of shit. Weren't we saying that about the Panthers a few years ago, Sean? Didn't we have the Meow Meow song as their theme song? Nobody complained then. I get it. There's not as many people that are passionate about hockey, but it's the truth. Are they that now? No. Took a few years. It's just you call it like you see it. And the Toronto Maple Leafs remind me so much of the Dolphins. So, yeah, their fan base should go after them, just like we do here against the Dolphins, because they're constant failures. Hey, man, listen, it's not just McD. We talk about it with Cristobal also. He has not won enough, and he had more talent than he needed last year in order to win and win the ACC, and he couldn't do it. He had a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback. He had the number 1 pick in the country at quarterback, and the guy couldn't get to the ACC championship game or the playoffs. Do you know how much buffoonery that is on behalf of Mario Cristobal? Do you know how terrible that is on Mario Cristobal's behalf? Pathetic. Pathetic. So he better change that shit. Because that's the only thing he needs to fix. He sucks on Saturdays. He's great every other day of the week. But on Saturdays, he's as mediocre as it gets. He's embarrassing. So let's go. Let's go, Mario. I got more hope for you than McDaniel because at least I know you'll run the football. So you'll give your offense a fighting chance. And by the way, you're getting out of the way of the offense, which is also very good, Mario. Very good. Let's see, Big O. If people just went to see a playoff hockey game live, they would be hooked on the spot. I agree. I totally agree. Dolphin Dave says, think at this. If Tua was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he would win the Super. Not this Pittsburgh Steelers team. This is not a good team. But I understand what you're saying in general. Yeah. Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. He would win. How blasphemous would it be? He will win more than Lamar does because he has an offensive line and a running game. And tight ends. And they have a defense. Yeah, all that stuff would help out Tua. So what are you going to do? It is what it is. All right, we're out of here. We thank David Furones. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley, mastering it all. We are out of here. We appreciate it. We are getting in the car right now. We are headed to Tampa to go see AC/DC. We love you all out there. We'll see you on Monday morning. Have a great one.
This is the Big O